Welcome to Poker Coaching Study Session. This is a cash game study session without crazy sixes. And here we are on the turn, deciding whether to go for a check raise, go for a bet, or go for a check call. Nobody wants to check call. And Larry just said,
Oh, goodness. I think we should run this in solver.
good
Let's see what
idea.
solver. This is a very interesting solver hand.
It's
Yeah,
it's
I
interesting.
agree.
Finish this one and solve it. Excellent choice. And we'd like to point out that Skate or Die thinks we have a straight. Let's move on. And the river.
Thoughts.
Let's see what he
But
does.
that's-
Thought he had a straight. Good.
That's
Good call.
me.
That's good. That's bad and good.
Interesting.
All right, what were you thinking here? I know what I'm thinking.
Thinking whether I check or block bet. And I think he has enough one pair hands that block betting makes sense.
I want to see a sub just for this river card.
I'm check calling here, definitely, depending on the size. There's a size he can get me off, but I'm not block betting here. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right. I'm saying what I would do. I would check call here.
Yeah, what do you want to get called by with 6-5? An 8? No, not an 8. A 7.
Yeah, because like he's not calling. He's not like when you bet. He's not
King Queen.
calling with the straight.
You can call with King Queen.
That is a block bet.
King can call, but
That is a block bet. And that is what you don't want to see with a block.
Oh, crap.
That was going to happen. This is a 25-50 game, and I don't know how many 25-50 games you guys play, but like this is a classic board where like this is what your opponent who has position on you. A flush draw, flushes on the board, a straight is on the board. They're going to bomb your ass every
There's no
time on the
flush.
river if you
There's
lead
no
out.
flush.
They're going to do it.
Right.
I'm
Sometimes they
saying
miss though.
if there was a flush out there,
Yeah.
or there's one card to a straight out there, they're gonna make you pay every time. So
Well,
the best
I mean-
move is to check call.
Yeah, I mean they do have these all the suited eights, right? All the suited eights on the button. They are on the button, right? So like as played when you block bet and they raise, is it more like value heavy? What are you guys thinking?
I don't know
Check
that all
call.
suited eights will be call.
what I always
But,
hear is that on the
I'm not
river,
folding two pair in a 25-50 game. I'm
river
gonna
ranges
check
are
call.
value heavy normally.
I mean, it depends.
Here the ranges are wide, so it's different.
We bet the turn. Okay, you overbet, right? The turn
No,
Three
well,
fourths?
we bet two-thirds on the turn.
2/3,
Bet
right?
call.
Yeah. So
Not over.
And he did
So
call. I mean, he has something.
right. So what can he have here? Like straight draws on the turn that
Yeah, he
got there on the river.
You can have a missed club. You can have missed hearts. You can have an 8.
Yeah.
And
A missed club is not supposed to bluff here on the river.
I know, but
A missed heart should.
and a missed
Mm.
heart. But you have hearts, so that's an advantage for you.
any
True.
hand with a 9 blocks our 9-8.
So what are our pot odds here? They're like, we've got to call 600 to
Yeah,
win.
but can a 9 call on turn, Scotty?
So we got to win 600,
Um,
including our bet to win 2000. So we're getting like almost 3-1, like it's like 27%, right?
7-9,
So
7-9, 10.
do we win 1 out of 4 times here? And this is super player dependent.
I feel like he called, like I'm thinking about the turn here, like yeah, the flop, but like more of the turn. Like he called a large bet on the turn, and now we block bet on the river, and he raised us. Like I don't think he's like more like exploiting our river sizing. I think that he's kind of like value heavy here, and maybe we should consider folding. Maybe I'm wrong.
I would lean towards fold here, I think. But
Yes.
I think you have to call sometimes, frankly. I would. And I think that sometimes is player dependent.
Yeah, I don't mind so
Hmm.
much.
Well,
Ah,
the simple answer is Sola would know this better than any of us. Is this player capable of being balanced? If he is,
Yes.
we have to call.
Because of his size.
Well, if he's balanced, we're gonna at least break even.
Right.
I agree. If he's balanced between value and bluffs here with this sizing, yeah. Like generally, I would feel like they're gonna like size up with bluffs. But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't play online too much, so
It-
I don't know.
This is sized up.
Yeah.
So I'm going to simplify this in my for my play, which is on the river. I'm going to make a decision here, and the decision is, and it's against his balance, which is I'm going to say if I'm going to call a decent sized bet, then I'm going to check call to keep that bet to help that bet be smaller and to more incentivize his bluffs to try to induce a bluff with my bluff catcher. If I'm going to block bet, I've already made the decision that I'm going to do the simple block bet of I block bet, and then when I get raised, I fold. So
It is-
the node that you guys want to play of block bet, raise, call, I'm going to eliminate from my game to simplify my life and turn that into check call.
Yeah, I based my
Not 100%
decision on
of the
previous
time.
actions. On the flop, he just checked back, so he doesn't have, yeah, let's say an ace or something like that. On the turn, he called a big bet. So what is he calling a big bet with? Clubs, 8x, hearts, and now he's check raising on the
And before we see
river.
what
So he has either a missed club or a missed heart, or he has a value hand, or he has an 8.
we block his hearts, that's bad. And his straight draws that didn't get there have 6s in them, and we block 6s, and the 6 blocks 6s.
Yeah.
So not loving all those things about this hand. Before we look at what he did, JL, you said something here. Check call with 2 pair to induce the bluff is find your balance.
Is
Is
to
that-
find your balance. So I heard a discussion about like, hey, the only person who really knows this spot is Salva, because I guess playing against this person, like, do you find that this person is a balanced guy? Without knowing that, I know my own true balance, and my balance is to check call to induce the bluff. If that happens, then I'm ready to call.
Right. You and I are playing that exactly the same way. That I agree
Yeah.
with that. That's my one. All right, let's see. Let's see what happens. We
Yeah,
call.
Joey was right.
All right.
He's got the Robbie.
Why did he
Nice
call
call.
the turn?
You got the max.
So what's 7x? May I ask?
Absolutely.
Excuse me. May I ask?
Absolutely.
Because I'm watching on my phone, so I got this incorrectly. So small blind versus big blind, right? So we raised with 6-5 pre-flop.
And he called Jack 4 suited. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I thought it was but he was button. Excuse me.
All right, who's gonna run this in solver?
I've got it set up,
All right.
but
this is-
anybody else can run it.
Nope, it's you. This is a good solver hand.
All right, so A7-5, blind versus blind, we raise, they call, right?
Yep. Jack 4 suited is in their range. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's our
We're
range.
not, this our range.
That's our range. I saw that. But Jack 4 suited is in.
Yeah, we've got 6-5 of hearts. Just look at range first. Yeah, we're spattering. I mean, we're mixing across the entire range.
When the king screens, don't bet. The rest,
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna see a lot of checking on most textures, blind versus blind, because if you look at ranges,
showdown value hands don't tap it.
there are tons of, I mean, we've got a massive part of our range, right? We are pre-flop, what are we raising? I think it's like 45%, 37%, and then limping, so 45% if you take out. And he's supposed to be calling 35%. So yeah, these are massive ranges. So we chose to check initially, is that correct, Solwa?
Yep.
I'll look for you in chat.
We checked.
Check, okay. And what did Dylan do?
Can,
You check
before you
back.
go to, before you go to check, can you go back to the small blind and, cause 6-4 had some bets. I wanna see if it's suit oriented only. Or I mean 6-5. No, just mixing every suit.
Yep.
Okay, thanks.
The majority is check.
I'm
Yeah.
curious what we do. So we're gonna check, everything is mixing check, right? What
Yeah,
about eight? Yeah, even 8-6, 8-6 is mixing check. Okay, so he checked, right? He checked.
Mhm.
Did he check back?
You check back.
yes.
And that's a good check back with his jack four.
Yeah.
And the
Sure.
four of hearts.
So this is where it gets interesting. So 4 of hearts,
Or we bet our check our.
we are, solver likes to check a lot here. So what are we doing with all of it? It says combo draw. What are we doing with our combo draws? Yeah, we're mixing. So, but it does seem to be very,
Well, it's betting more where we don't have a pair. The hands where we have a pair, well, sevens are betting.
Yeah, but that's a set. Oh, you meant 7x. Okay, sorry.
7x.
It's top pair.
7x here is
Um,
betting.
It's
Second
the
pair.
effective, it's the effective top pair.
Yeah, so Joey's right. So if we have a marginal hand with a draw to the nuts, we are just checking. And then all these hands which have overcards, I think
But-
these bets are being driven by having the additional equity of overcards.
I also have to mention that what I said in the thing was wrong for this hand. Because it does have big bets.
To
And
show the
usually
whole,
on the boards where you downsize, everything is downsized.
yeah, let's
Yeah,
see.
we
how
don't
much-
have that many, Joey. We just have about 3%.
Yeah,
of
but
ours.
there is some.
Yeah,
So, yeah, so, and our big bets are gonna be a combination of clear. Our big bets are gonna be a combination of our straight,
we bet-
and then we're going to
bet.
balance betting with the very top of our range big by betting big with our combo draws.
Larry, do it clearer. Click on, instead of clicking on the filter, click on the bet size itself.
Yeah,
On
yeah,
click
click
the
on
two
the
big
bet size.
Well, I was seeing what hands had that, but sure.
Yeah.
I'm happy to do that.
Yeah, and even the 125. Let's just throw that in there too.
Alright,
Just get those two.
oops,
Yeah.
oops. There we go.
There we go.
Alright,
So
so
the
so
best
we-
aces,
we chose to bet. And you're right, this is mostly a checking hand because we have marginal value already. So I think that's Solo's observation. This out of the
but
way.
we could have bet small.
So I'm gonna give it the size it does use, which is the small bet, which is a B33. He called, correct?
Yeah,
What's he supposed to do with his 4x? Yeah, he's not really folding anything but air here to the small bet with such wide ranges. If you, let's just look at this real quick. He's got a smattering of raises to match his very top of his value, which is straights. Here. He's never slow playing his straights on this double paired board, which makes sense.
Double flush.
So he calls. And we get the 6 of spades. So what are we doing with our 2 pair? Yeah, we're betting a lot here. So, and it's gonna be spread across. Primary
Yeah.
sizing is
But he
B60,
bet small on the.
and then
but.
we have a lot of
our hand-
blockers too.
Yeah, but it's different, eh?
Our hand, it is a blocker bet.
And it's beautifully polarized.
If you bet
Yeah.
small on the turn, then it's a blocker bet. That's what we see now.
Bluff from the bottom up, as they say. And our particular combo is blocker. So you played this well when you get here.
I did bet big on the.
You
Are
blind
these the hardest spots to play, blind versus blind?
by far, yes.
Okay.
Ranges are so wide.
Anytime a four liner hits, that's a hard board, no
Yeah.
matter what your position. So I'm more interested in seeing how solver plays the four liners more often than just a position.
So Solo has a question. On turn, can you see if he folds FD 8x to a B75.
Non-flush draw.
Okay, I doubt he's gonna do that, but let's see.
I wonder
On
if he
turn,
should
right?
call this 4.
So he
Against the
bets
big bet.
B75 here. And you're curious about 8x, right?
Some 4s.
So
That's what I wanted to see indeed.
he
Yeah.
does fold some. He folds these 8x.
Yeah, you only have
But
big
he, once he gets closer, he mixes. But let's do filter. Let's do filters. Gut shot. So he's mixing with his gut shots at B75.
Yeah, but
He's
some of them
indifferent.
are
He
flush
really
draws.
likes having. Well, obviously he's not folding an eight, a gut shot with an ace, but, king eight's mixed.
If you notice the ones he's folding, it's the ones with a Broadway. Where I think a lot of our bluffs might be coming from at this sizing if you check
Yeah,
our
that's a,
range.
that's a good point. He doesn't want to block our bluffs. Good point. So
Flush draws.
we used a B33 on turn, right?
We actually used a B66.
We did use a big, we
But
used it.
that will
But that's
break
gonna
the
break the
solver.
spell.
It'll
That's
break
gonna
the
break the
solver for our hand because it doesn't exist.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, so we gotta use the B33.
No,
Yeah,
it flop one check.
Oh, sorry. I went too far ahead.
and then it went 75.
Can
Four
you tell I'm not a
hearts.
natural multitasker? Turn was a 4 of hearts. We're gonna play B33 because that's what solver likes. Now comes the most interesting question.
Six of
6 of
spades.
spades.
We block or bet.
We're gonna
keep-
block or bet. We'll use their sizing. He
And
raises.
he raised a little bit under pot. So go 14.5.
Yeah, so what are we, so we are,
Folding.
our two pair are. We get to hero at some frequency on this line. We are calling
Yeah, but
sometime.
if
I mean, it's a zero EV call.
realize that you bet bigger on the turn, then you should probably fold on the river with this hand.
And we need hearts for that call, right? We can't do it with the other suit.
We can't have clubs. I mean, it's
We don't have.
But we have
don't
another,
think-
but we do have another suit. No, 6-5, not 6-4.
So
We have diamonds and we fold the diamonds.
it is better to have hearts.
Um,
And so let's look at our full range here. So what do we call, let's clear this. To finish this all off, let's just look and see where our threshold of calling is. So,
log off. Eat.
Well, seeing that I think it, proves.
anything, sorry, go ahead.
I think it kind of proves the thought that it's player dependent.
Yeah. Yeah, when it's indifferent.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Against
agreed.
population who might be more passive than typical, I think we fold. But if the player is able to be balanced or bluff more than balance, we have to call.
Yeah. We're even shook with our sets when it's 4 to a straight.
Yeah,
So, but we do have to bluff catch at some low frequency. So good bluff catch, Solo.
yeah, and really good from JL to point out that at this NL50 game, people are finding this bluff. Without knowing anything about the player, he pointed out, he said, this is what they look for. And at least in this case, this is what the guy found.
can you go back and look at this small blind range so I could see what he's betting with?
The big
On
blind?
river.
No, I mean I'm sorry, the big blind. With
What
his
he's
raise,
raising with.
with his raise, yeah.
He's supposed to raise quite a bit with 4 to a flush. It's mostly his straights.
But he does have like
Want to see
some
what his
twos
trash
in
is?
there.
Those bluffs are going to be trash hands.
Yeah.
So. This is trash hands that he's betting with.
His exact hand is a very low frequency of the bluff. You know, he prefers to have Jack 2 than Jack 4 to do this, but it's there. Jack 4 diamonds.
I wonder whether he likes, I wonder what likes the. He's calling the 10-7 a trash hand in this situation.
But it also blocks 7-8.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He's blocking the 7-8.
Yeah.
Twos because it's got to pull it from someplace and it's
And-
unblocking. I assume this is because it's unblocking.
And the
It's
10-7
blocking
combo
3
blocks
twos.
10-8 too.
Right.
Yeah.
I would think 9-7 would be the best of those, but it isn't.
Yeah,
Because it blocks it blocks the uber nuts, the 9-8. And the blah, blah, blah. Okay. And the
all right,
8-6.
anything else you guys want to see?
No, that's it.
And the thing taken away from this that I got is I think Joey's guideline still held because while there were some big bets on the board, it was overwhelmingly the small bet size on the flop. 4 times as many small bets as all the big bets from 50% put together. And while the solver never checks that river,
Oh.
I'm not yet convinced that
Larry, I'm sorry, Scotty.
Oh.
Larry, do you have that solve still up?
Yeah,
Can you go back? All right, go ahead, Scotty.
I was just gonna say, I'm not convinced that checking that that the way that I said it and JL said it is a bad play. Check call to induce and
Yeah,
win.
I like check call too.
Yeah.
Um,
You're leaving some money on the table against his marginally made hands that he has to call with. I agree with that.
what? All right, Larry, what I want to check is change the turn card to like a 2 of spades. Oh wait, a 2 of spades brings in a draw.
Just do an ace.
So Scotty, this is your hand. This is a 1-2 online.
I'm not this good.
No, this was solo.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was a nice hand.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he bluffed that. Like that's
No,
when you bet.
if I played this hand, there's a reasonable chance that I would have bluff caught on the river, but the amount of money I would have gotten in the bluff catch was smaller because his raise size would have been smaller because I wouldn't have bet the river. So I would have made less money. And maybe you don't induce as much with a check because maybe a check is sneakier, whereas a block bet is really announcing something about the strength of your hand. It's saying, I might call, yeah, enough words. Okay. What did you want
Yeah,
to do?
I just
Possibly.
maybe like a jack of hearts. Make the turn a jack of hearts, and I want to see if our betting gets large.
And I vote for ace of spades for this test.
we do have a little bit more polarized betting.
Way more. Way more. We have twice as many bets bigger than 33 now, and before we had 4 times as many bets 33 than above.
Yeah, you're right.
Right.
I think way more is a
Um,
technical term.
Ace of
Can we
spades.
can we please see how often villain is checking the ace on the flop with the flush draw available in the straights?
We'll check that too. Although I think that that's not going to be realistic for population. I don't think they'll protect as much as Solver will. But
Yeah,
Steve, what did you want to look at?
I want to hear what you
same
guys think.
Same thing with the ace. Look at that. We have half as our big bets are the same, have slightly more than the small bets. So yeah. He wants to just see the flop and just see how often does big blind check his ace against our check.
Should be some.
Yeah, he's got a lot of it, but I don't think your opponents do.
Yeah, so I think that people are gonna play an ace here, more face up, but generally with ranges so wide, blind versus blind, we can do a lot of checking in situations that you're not gonna see. Where ranges are more pronounced, more defined.
Would you roll over the suited aces once? Just the ace 10, ace 9, ace 8, just quickly. I just want to see what the suit, how the suits matter. Loves betting the club. Okay, great.
Alright,
All right,
handing it back to the alpha of the day.
Okay,
all right. Next
Who's
hand we have
next?
here is, we have another Salwa is next. I don't think anybody else put one up yet. All right. You're up, Salwa, then I'll get one ready.
Do you want me to share?
Yeah.
Hang on.
Oh,
Can you see my screen?
Yes, you
yes,
can.
Because I can't. Okay.
You cannot see your screen?
Not on the Zoom side. It doesn't really matter.
Okay,
So
you've got it
Beforehand-
in a virtual machine or something?
no idea.
Okay,
I don't have the virtual machine open though.
okay.
Get an open from a weak regular from the cutoff. A fishy button calls, and I decide to squeeze king check off from the small blind. Seems pretty standard to me.
So this is interesting. So this is always an interesting range to me. He's flatted in the button. You squeeze, and now he is calling your squeeze with a capped range.
Yep.
So this,
Would anybody not squeeze this combo here?
I'm actually checking on PC.com right now. I probably would.
yeah, I like to squeeze.
King, to
I
me,
don't find it enough.
King Queen is definite. King Jack, that seems like on the fence for me, but I'm not really sure.
Recent 500, 550.
So at 50 now, TTO Wizard has slivers.
I like the size.
Does it prefer suited?
It's doing a pure suited.
How deep are we to start the hand?
Rough big process. 120 big blinds versus the button, 150 big blinds deep versus the cutoff. So
In the poker coaching ranges, it's a fold.
oops. Yep.
Would you,
So this
could you
folding.
expand, given his notes on those players? Weak reg and seems fishy.
I would be really interested in their fold to 3-bet.
Um,
I think Solo plays on stars, so he's probably has that.
I only have 35 hands on the button. The cutoff has 70% fold to 3-bet.
Yeah, so if someone has a 70% fold to 3-bet, I think this is a slam dunk. Because the button has a capped range. So if someone's gonna fold to 3-bet 70%, this, to me, this definitely falls within our squeeze range.
yeah,
And the button probably has not only a capped range, but he has a capped range that's probably extra wide from the note seems fishy.
I mean, that was a note based on 35 hands, so
what was his VP IP PFR?
43% BPIP, 14% PFR.
I love
But-
this squeeze.
And the
30%.
cutoff is 2320.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't mind. I mean, I would prefer generally to do it like with hands like suited connectors, 8-7, 6-7, maybe Jack 10. But yeah, if like Larry said, if somebody's folding, overfolding to 3-bets, then yeah.
Next decision point. Do we have a check out of position here?
Um, I, I don't think we do against the count range of the fish. I mean, he might have threes and twos. He might, I mean, there's
I-
also, I mean, there is the potential for a trap here, but I think that's really rare.
I would see bet here.
I agreed.
What size?
What size was that?
Uh, 2/3, I think. I would lander. I don't think that's a very common c-bet size in GTO,
Yeah,
especially because fishy players do have pocket threes and pocket deuces in their range.
and out of position, we're gonna be a little more polarized on the flop,
Yeah, but
especially here. We're not betting range here.
my reasoning is his check raises are extremely value heavy. So I can't bet bigger because I need to if I want to get money from his worst hands, like pocket tens, pocket eights. And if he raises, I can fold without a problem because they don't find enough bluffs. When you show aggression, they bluff if you check to them, if you show weakness, but they generally don't bluff raise enough. Any disagreements there?
Nope.
No. A loose
Okay.
passive player is gonna play passive until he has the goods.
Call on the double flush draw on the turn.
I don't like that card.
Yeah, me neither.
I like it more than the 10 of diamonds, but I don't like that card.
So you bet again, or
Okay, real quick, this is a question for you since you're in the hand with this player. Can you get 3 streets of value with worse off of this player?
queen check suited? It's about the only combo I can think of.
What about like Jack 9? He won't pay you off with Jack 9?
Yeah, but is he really called the squeeze with Jack 9 suited?
Efficient player? Yeah,
Could be, but still, that's 6 combos we're talking about here.
I mean, he would want maybe at least one over, maybe. Like, yeah, I agree with Joey. Yeah, I'm queen. Well, yeah, queen jack. I mean, excuse me, I agree with Saul. Queen jack would probably be the worst value hand.
I'm checking to screw myself up on the river to give myself a hard decision. That's what I'm going to do. Because
I was thinking the direct opposite. I was like, let's rip it. Let's go.
I want to kind of polarize with this. I want to go like 75%.
I'm gonna put him to the test and just put them all in. That's what I'm doing.
75% makes no sense. He only has 86 big blinds behind the pot is 71.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay. I missed.
Yeah,
I
it's,
did
it's
miss
all or
that.
nothing. It's all or nothing.
I did miss that. I'll go with JL then. I thought he was a little bit deeper.
I
He's
just don't think that if I shove, he calls any flush draws. I mean, he really shouldn't. And if it doesn't call flush draws, I don't get called by enough worse hands if I shove.
I like 75%. Maybe here on the turn. Size up. You could size up with ace jack, king jack. Maybe start thinking twice about queen jack.
I agree with that. I don't want to do it with with king jack, but I agree with you. If you're doing it with ace jack and king jack, queen jack is the place to stop doing that. That's your line.
Yeah.
My thought here, not a good one, is that when I bet that size and got called, I'm really targeting Jack 10 and Queen Jack and the draws, and specifically the diamond draw. The club coming in doesn't bother me very much because at that size, I don't think fish go for backdoor draws there. And I have the king of clubs blocking it. And of my main, the value that I beat, now I beat half of it. The 10 came in. The jam is good because it's simple and I'm done, but I think I want to make my life more miserable and check here.
So you're saying we're looking at a fishy player. My assumption with fishy is loose passive.
Mhm.
His VPIP, PFR kind of prove that.
Yep.
I don't think Jack 10 is definitely in his range,
Mhm.
but it's not a large part of his range that he gets to the turn with.
What's the
I
what
think
do
he
you
has
get to the
nines,
tournament
eights,
guard?
7, 6s, ace 3, ace 2, 5, 4, diamonds, clubs.
Ace five
King,
suited, ace four, ace five.
Yeah.
Oh.
I think we have to like bet with this combo against this
I
player.
don't think we can check being afraid of that small combination when we get value from so much more.
Okay.
What do we get value from? And what size are we betting?
A loose
Just
pass,
draws.
a loose passive will call withdrawals.
Not an all-in.
Huh?
You think a loose passive player is going to call a flush draw if a shove here for overpot?
I've seen it happen. I've had it happen against me.
Certainly with a pair and a flush draw.
And
Give-
then they
Of
hit.
course. Yeah, that's another thing too. The pair and the flush draw. And again, this is a 25-50 game, and that these guys they play at this type of level where you have a board that looks like two flushes, a straight possibility out there. They hit the pair. These guys are willing to get it in because they want to maximize and find their balance. They're not going to fold their draws. They can't. They can't afford to fold their draws.
I think your player pool analysis is good. I think this guy is not that guy. Look at his VPIP. He isn't the 25-50 player you're talking about. Even at
Roger.
75 hands, not at that VPIP. That isn't that guy.
Roger that.
Yeah,
Let's see what you did.
my thinking is don't worry about the mistakes he's going to make. Just make the bet and let him make the mistake he's going to make.
Okay.
Well, my thinking was I can't get caught by enough worse sense if I shove. Doesn't make a lot of sense to bet small here. So I went for the check.
Yay, team check. Let's see how bad this is. Oh,
And he bets close to 40% pot. How much is this?
Well, half
Three
pot, no?
sevens.
Well, actually, yeah, less than that, maybe.
It's a little over 40% pot, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, around there. I'm not good at
Yeah.
math.
45%.
Wow.
Now what?
I'm leaning to just call.
call.
Well, I disagree again. Because at this point, I think he has to call every flush draw. Now he's pot committed.
Okay.
Does a loose
So-
passive player bet all of his
Exactly.
flush draws?
I don't know if he does. But
Hmm.
I anticipate that the river card after the call here
But he
is going to
doesn't-
be like a world of pain, like Scotty was talking about.
I don't-
The river card is going to be a world of pain for everybody.
But if you check jam here, that is a very nice that is a very nice way to do the jam even better.
I agree. I agree. There it is. There it is.
Yeah, that's
No more pain. See, it's done. It's done.
Yeah. That's the best way to get I think this is the best way to get all your chips in. I think this is better than the flat out jam. All right.
Any
let's see what
guesses on what
Ryder.
he has? Once he calls?
Oh, once he calls, I don't know. It's got to be
Pocket eights.
no.
Pair with a draw. Pair with the
Well-
flush draw.
Yeah, because like he's not betting just his draws on the turn. Like he's fishy, right? He's gonna want to realize.
He probably has a lot of equity.
Queen Jack and King Jack. I mean, Queen Jack and 10 Jack.
Yeah, Jack something of clubs or Ace 5 of club. No.
Wait,
Well,
it's this.
I-
If you're showing us the hand, he has 9-4 of spades. If you're showing us the hand.
You don't know how close you are.
I'm putting him on. Oh, okay, there it is.
Wow.
Yeah.
that's an-
That's what I was gonna say. I was just gonna say it. I've seen a lot of people overplay marginal made hands when you check to them. That's why I said pocket eights, because it was in marginal made hand range.
That's the equivalent of pocket eights.
Wow.
His call on the flop is surprising.
Yep.
The rest of the play.
He has a backdoor. The fishy players don't like to fold if there's any chance they could still win. Runner will give him a surprise pot winner.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I was expecting a hand like ace queen to bluff the
There,
turn
you're
and then
expecting-
call it off. But never this.
Mhm.
I was not expecting this.
That is
Does
bad.
anybody want
So-
to run it?
So you think if you bet he wouldn't call? He's already overplayed the marginal made hand. That's why I
I
was
don't
saying
think he
they-
calls
they
a
will-
shove on the turn.
No, I've played with enough players like this to know that they will likely still call. They don't like to fold if they have a chance to win.
But he has second pair and no draw on the turn. If I
Okay,
bet big on the
I
flop
understand-
and
I
shove
understand
the
you-
turn,
I understand you would never do that, but we're not trying to figure out what a good player will do. I'm just basing it on 20 years of experience playing with these bad players. They will overvalue marginal made hands because they think there's still a chance to win. You could be bluffing with diamonds.
All right. We can't run it accurately because it was three-way pre-flop.
Yeah, and
That-
and he had a
that
limp
doesn't
range.
matter.
And-
Pre-flop doesn't matter.
because it is true, if he raised that 10-9 suited, which is in his range, and you get to 3-bet a king jack there. So those hands exist in the range if you want to run it. But he is so far off, his play is so far off what the solver would do, what the solver suggests to you is wrong. Because the solver doesn't include his hand being played that way. Does that make sense?
Yeah, he might break the solver pretty early.
Yeah, his hand breaks the solver. That doesn't mean you can't get to the river and make decisions, but you're making decisions not against this player. You're making them against a different player, a very different player. You want to see that against a very different player or move on? Timeout, move on.
Mm.
There we go. All right, let's see what this.
You're like sixes. You give him 3 seconds. You're dead to me.
Exactly. Anytime you say I'm like sixes makes me feel good. All right, this guy, we got a poster on a broken stack and we are playing probably $50. We're playing the $50 game. All right. Open limps, because that's what we see in the $50 game. Big raise. Ace 5 suited. I think this is a good fold here, given the raise size.
Yes.
But we are deep.
Yeah.
He and I are deep enough to play it.
I
But
don't know. I have this thing with ace 5 suited.
It's a pretty hand, right? But like you have
I'm
reverse implied
three-betting.
odds.
I'm 3-betting here.
All right. That hand was less interesting than I thought. I just had.
What,
it-
Why
Joey,
is
what
it-
size, can Joey, what size would you use here to 3-bet?
Like 20.
So you're just gonna, yeah, you're gonna go 4x.
4x the open.
And there's no discount. There's no reduction in sizing because it was an ISO.
What are you trying to fold out? I mean, what you're thinking because you're blocking the ace X, that 3-bet is fine.
It's a fun hand to 3-bet, man.
Yeah, having an ace blocker is pretty cool. And it's not. When I 3-bet, I'm not necessarily always looking to win it pre-flop.
Right.
I'm thinking a couple streets ahead where if I 3-bet and C-bet, 70% of the time I'm taking the pot by then.
Yeah.
No, no.
They're
Well,
playing
because like,
very standard there.
yeah, because like when you have an ace and they have an ace, the chances of an ace coming on the flop are a lot less. I'm not sure what the percentage is. And then when they don't 4-bet you pre-flop, you're like, okay, they're capped. They don't have a good hand, so you could move forward.
Yeah,
And also
Okay.
this hand can make straights and it can make flushes. So it's got a lot of good.
Yeah.
3-bet, 4-bet bluffing properties.
Yeah, that ace-5 suited is kind of known as the solver special, so to
Right.
speak. This is coming from a very early position, though. That's my only concern.
Same.
It's doubled up. It's from the early position, and it doesn't include his many of his early position bluffs because he's chosen to ISO. So he's got a reasonable chance of getting called by this range, not this guy with his 10-8 offsuit. So that cuts out, a lot of his insta folds just don't get played here.
see, there's
You
no
also
way
wanna-
to, there's no way to look at it with the limp, but ace-5 suited against under the gun mixes about 50-50 call or 3-bet.
Right.
True, but like Scotty said, the sizing is kind of off. It's 2x what we usually open. So like I would have to have some history. Like if he's opening like sizing up with his bluffs, then yeah, I could see ace-5.
But that sizing isn't big though for the situation.
Right. It's just the
No.
situation. the
Because
situation drives
There's
it.
there's a limper and a poster, so 5x is standard.
Yeah.
That
Correct.
situation.
Correct. I take it back.
It would actually be 5.5, and maybe 6.5 because he's out of position against the poster. So if
Again,
I
I get it wrong.
least to
Yeah,
say,
I got that wrong.
okay,
Let me move to my computer.
not a, all right. Has anybody else put up a hand yet?
It's not letting me go to chat.
Okay. Right. And that was my thoughts exactly on this hand, this completely uninteresting hand were that ace-5 suited is an easy call. It's an easy 3-bet, but how much does this change it?
I would have still. I would have 3-bet, but I think calling is better than folding,
Okay. Gotcha.
especially since you're both deeper too.
Yeah, I don't mind playing an ace-5 suited
And
here.
even if the under the gun limp calls, he's so short, it's not going to affect the hand that much.
Right.
Larry just put in another hand.
Great, we'll go do that.
I just put in a butcher.
I will stop sharing and let you put it up.
Do you want me to do it? I can do it. No
Yeah,
problems. All right,
yeah.
let me just,
It's like 1:30. Are we going to take a small break?
sure, you want to take one now?
Yeah.
I don't mind.
Sounds
All right.
good.
Back in 5 minutes.
Sounds good.
All right.
Yep.
Oh, that hand. One doesn't exist. No, we're just on a break. We're on a 5-minute break. I'm gonna get all my. Computer doesn't act right. 3.
Hey kids, just checking in to see how you're doing here with all the snow. Give me a call, see when you get a chance. To ask a couple questions to try and not leave too many things undone. And also Nancy has a couple puzzles that are supposed to be delivered today. See, depending on the roads. Let me kiss this guy.
All right, I'm back.
All right,
Yeah, I'm back.
cool. Let me not show known.
By the way,
key.
does anybody in the group play on ACR? Or am I the only victim?
I play ACR once in a while.
So I got KYC'd by ACR over the weekend.
You got what?
I think the term is KYC'd. So they locked my account and they require identification that I'm a human.
Good.
It is kind of a good thing,
They're doing that.
but it's very unnerving because I had too much money I have too much money on there. And you can't get to it. You're locked out of your account.
You were worried that they found your RTA program? I'm just kidding.
So
Ah,
so I've sent them all the documents and everything, and it took them 2 days. I said it on the KYC me on Sunday, and it took them 2 days to get back to me to say that they couldn't get the attachment, so I have to send it again. So
Right.
it's incredibly unnerving. But hopefully they'll come back with good news.
All right, let's see. What do we got? What hand do we have here?
All right, I butchered this
Larry
hand.
hand. We got a Larry hand. Let's do that.
And if Yos will this is not the hand I wanted to show you guys. Hold on.
We'll do it anyway. And then we'll,
Let me see if I can find the hand I wanted to show you.
okay.
Okay, here it is. It was the hand I wanted to show you.
Good.
All right, you guys can see the screen?
Yep.
Your limp. So just as Joey was talking about, this kind of falls into the same territory as ace-5 suited. It's not quite as good.
Yep.
But good 3-bet bluff, which I choose to do here. Does anybody think this is ridiculous?
I don't
No.
think it's ridiculous, but this is the one that I'm letting go of because I think that the buttons range is missing the so much of why you can bluff ace-4 suited against him
So
in the
yeah,
small because of the limp. He's
Yeah.
so much of his range that he would. I mean, you love instafolds. They're not the only thing you want, but you love them when you 3-bet ace-4 suited, and a lot of his instafolds are gone now.
yeah,
I
I think
like
that's
this.
valid.
I like this situation better than the previous situation because you're not coming from an earlier position, much earlier position. You have fewer posters and limpers that are able to get into the pot with you. It's
Yeah.
the buttons ISOing in a late position can be wide. I think I like this spot better than the previous spot.
So
Okay.
Scotty, would you 3-bet bluff against a hijack range?
From the big blind, yes. From the small blind, I would mix it, and I might go down to just the ace-5, just for not because the ace-5 is better than the ace-4, but just so I don't do it too often. I might be only doing ace-5 there, and so therefore, when when another factor comes in that might be messy, I wouldn't choose the ace-4 here. So I guess the answer is it's the same question for me against the hijack range. But I would do it from the big blind.
Okay, in GTO Wizard, small blind versus hijack, ace-5, ace-4, ace-3 suited, and ace-2 suited sometimes 3-bet.
Gotcha. And in
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I think there was a little bit of a dynamic in game. We had this big stack, recreational, who's limping. I think he was limping like 80% of hand.
Ooh, then I love this. I love this as a re-steal.
I should have explained this. And yeah, and this guy was keen to it. And so over the last 30 minutes, he had begun to ISO pretty consistently here, which I think puts us into our
Yeah, then I love it.
3-bet.
Yes.
I don't know if it's a 3-bet or 4-bet technically, but whatever it is, re-ISO.
Well, the 2-bet was the raise. He
Yeah.
just called the 1-bet.
Yeah, so this is a 3-bet, I guess, technically.
Yeah.
So we get a call. He thought a lot about what he wanted to do. So he's either Hollywooding or he's got a non-premium to me. We get this interesting flop where we've got backdoor and two backdoors and an over. What are you guys doing here?
Can I stop you there? He took a long time to on the flop or pre-flop to decide to call.
Yeah.
Okay, that typically means he either has top of range or bottom of range.
Yeah, it's
The
either
middle-
Hollywood or it's the bottom.
the-
Yeah.
The middle of range is easy calls. The bottom of range, you don't know if you want to call or fold.
Yeah, so this is not as much
And
king
top,
queen suited as it is aces are like 10-9 suited.
and top
don't
of
know.
range is more of, do I want a 3-bet or just slow play?
I don't know putting too much credence into timing tells. I mean, it could be anything from he's distracted, playing multiple tables. But yeah, I don't know if I'd put too much into it.
Okay, that's fair enough.
But
Yeah,
it is a data point.
You
It
put
just doesn't
something
mean,
into the mic, right? You don't ignore it.
Right.
Good. Okay.
I mean, I guess the bottom line with timing tells is that when you're playing online, you have the most minimum of information. So you do try to glean some information from one of the only sources of information in this game of imperfect information, and that's the timing tell.
Yeah, and I feel like when that information is like repetitive, then maybe you could make assumptions. But like everybody's playing different tables, 2 tables, 5 tables, so their timing is going to be different.
Yeah, you
Really.
can't
Yeah.
base decisions entirely on it. So what are you guys doing here?
I'm always c-betting this board in this situation, and my size is 12 to 17.
Let's see what I choose. Choose a little small.
Yeah.
Choose B30. B33. He calls.
I think I think that's fine. Your sizing's good.
So the flush comes in. I'm a little shook. I think that a lot of his calling range is gonna be front doors. So I'm not continuing here. Is anybody polarizing here?
No, I don't think you can polarize now.
You
Nope.
can continue to bet though, if you choose to. You don't have to give up the betting lead, but you don't want to bet 40.
What side
Yeah.
are you gonna use?
If you bet, I think it'd be another small bet, another third. What's our stack sizes? Yeah, it'd be small bet for sure.
So my issue with that is that I don't know how much of our range we're folding out after he calls pre. Alright, so if we choose a bet small line, bet small. I think we have to have a plan. I like it if we're planning on shoving river. So if we bet small here, and then we bet, let's say, B15 here. The only reason I would B15 is that I want to have a very large shove size for a larger component of for a larger percentage of the pot on river to fold out his tens and jacks.
B, B15 big blinds or B15%?
15 big blinds.
15 big blinds. Okay.
But I don't know what 15 big blinds is gonna fold out on turn. I think if I'm going to choose to use that sizing, I'm gonna use it thinking that I'm gonna shove river in most runouts. And I don't use that play that much. I remember watching a couple of players in Scotty's hand histories on Ignition use this play, and I think it's effective. Where you bet small and then you bet small, and then that leaves a very big, a very good SPR close to 1 on river in which to bluff shove, which has more oomph because it's such a bigger portion of the of the pot, which is going to more likely fold out jacks and tens and nines, as opposed to making a bigger bet here on turn, betting and then shoving a smaller like SPR 0.5, and then I think jacks, tens, and nines are going to call it a higher frequency.
I think checking may be better than betting small.
Yeah, me too.
Because
Yeah.
listen to the thinking here. If you turn to flush, you're going to have some flushes in your checking range to protect your checking range. And if you're going to bet the flush, you're going to polarize. You're not going to bet any flushes small on the turn.
Yeah.
So I think betting small says I never have a flush. Where checking keeps some flushes in.
I think if we were to run this in solver in this situation, yeah, I think solver is going to do both with nut flush. It's going to check trap at some frequency, but mostly it's going to bet.
Yeah, and I don't know that a flush, if you're with a flush here, I don't know that you want to polarize your flushes. I don't know if you want to polarize anything in your range here, because I think your equities are going to run pretty close now that the flush has sort of completed on the turn. I think your equities are going to be pretty close. Like you're both going to have, I think he may even have more flushes than you do. I don't know if you can polarize even with a flush.
Yeah, I agree. Because if we were to look at ranges in solve, we would see that his range is condensed now because he called that C-bet. And like I said, it's gonna, I think, include a lot of FDs, front door flush dolls. So I did choose a check.
Real quick, is there a general rule of when the flush draw comes in on the turn, whether you generally with your range size up or size down? Does that rule exist when the equity completes? And is it different in position and out of
Well,
position?
when I mean polar, I don't mean bet huge, but I think 50% or more would be your sizing.
Yeah, we can look at this.
I think
small
if
line
we
versus
bet-
button.
If we bet like 30%, I think that just advertises we don't have a flush.
Yeah, I think that's valid. I think exploitatively, some people are gonna use small size here with their nut flush. Or they're gonna check with their nut flush, but I think you're right. So we check, and then we complete, get the straight on river. What are you guys doing here?
Jumping up and down and cheering.
I
Hmm.
guess
Mhm.
we're gonna have multiple betting sizes here. Our flushes are going to bet large, our flushes are going to bet over pot. Straights are going to be the next level down, so maybe about 75% to pot size.
If we B75, which is like a B, what, 40? Oh, I'm sorry, 40 big blinds. What are we doing to a shove?
Stopping, jumping up and down.
Hmm.
This is also a site where you don't have a HUD.
No,
Are you single tabling and watching this player? Because it really becomes player dependent.
yeah, I'm probably playing 3 tables, I think.
Blocker size here. I mean, because you'd be targeting, their queen X, their jacks, tens with a spade, whatever. But I don't know betting where you're committed to call because you've got the nuts, the effective nut straight. I don't know if you can fold.
Yeah,
I
And
think
you-
if he shoves, you gotta call. If he's kind of unknown to you, you gotta call.
If I bet
so,
size here, I'm definitely calling. This is
So-
the time that it goes block call as opposed to block fold.
yeah. So you guys would block call, right?
Well,
I'm gonna decide,
I wouldn't block or bet. I'm not betting like 10,
What would you bet here? Like a B,
about 40.
like a 40 big blinds, you do like a B60, B75?
Yeah.
So I made a mistake here. And I, used a stupid size, which is also, I think I was in another big hand. So this is a big error. I just shoved. And he had trapped the nut flush.
Not
Yeah,
again. Not again, Larry.
I think when you shove, you're only getting called by flushes.
Yeah, it's an error because he doesn't, maybe a set calls, but that's it. So, yeah, this is a big error.
Yeah.
I like your,
think
I
shove
like
down
your
both.
sizing here with the B60. And I probably would have called, I probably would end up the same if I would have called them all.
I think that
But-
you lost all your money in the wrong order.
Yes, I lost my money in the wrong order.
That's all.
So I really liked his play here. I don't know if I really liked it, but generally, I think that some component, when we have the absolute nuts, he's got 95% equity here. He's got 92% equity here on button. At some frequency, he needs to trap.
Right.
Now, I'm curious, Joey or Solo, or Scotty, are you ever trapping in his position with the nut flush here?
Yeah,
me
you
look-
have to once in a while.
Yeah,
I'm usually betting small.
yeah, I think it's a good play too. I would have called because I had, well, yeah, I would have called a small bet. If he had B30, I think I would have called.
Either or, bet small or check.
Yeah. So Dream River. So, all right, that's it, guys.
Nice hand for him.
Yeah, I think,
You want to see that one? If we see that one, let's put him in the hijack. Because I think his squeeze range is his ISO range is more hijacky than it is buttony. You want to see, do you want to look at that one quick?
if you guys would find it helpful, I'll do it.
I'll buy that.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, you never know. We might, even if we don't find a specific thing that you did in that hand, we might pick up a different pattern that we didn't even think of.
Yeah, I'm happy to run it for you guys if you think
That was
about it. So, you want him in the hijack?
Yeah.
I'll set this up, and then
Okay.
show it to you guys just
I'll
to
show you, while you do
make
that,
sure everybody on YouTube doesn't know what's going on.
great, I'll show you two interesting ones that we don't have to solve while we do this. These were marked to look at. I'm not even in them, but obviously something interesting happened because I marked them. Let's see what it is. We have a limp by a 6-8 suited. We're not surprised to see that. We see a lot of those. The 6-5 suited ISOs against it. And then the guy goes
Wow.
limp, 3-bet, but too small to accomplish anything.
Yeah, he's just pushing buttons.
Yeah, just thought,
I think the 6-5 suited should call behind instead of
yeah,
ISOing.
unless this guy's VPIP is so ridiculous that he's been looking for to get in against him with any hand.
Right, yeah. If
Uh,
his VPIP is like 70 or higher.
Yeah, if that's what and if it's all limps, if he's been limping.
I dislike his ISO even more with this really short stack in the big blind because it's just highly likely that they'll just shove
big
and you're
blind
stuck
goes-
with 6-5.
Yeah, screw it. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Well,
For
no,
me.
you can still fold to the big blind shove.
True, but I just would probably, like you said, limp behind rather than ISO.
All right. So with bottom pair and this guy exhibiting strength, he does that. Picks up the draw, doesn't fold. Massive and okay, that's what happens with it. So it was just that, was just the amusement of that. You got it ready?
Yeah, I got it ready. I'm just,
All right, I'll
just
give
need
up.
1 second.
Oh, you got 1 second? All right, let's see what happened in this one, why this one's marked.
Okay,
What's
hold on
funny
1
about
second.
this? King 10 raises, king queen calls. We don't have a calling range here in the cutoff, but if we did have a calling range, I guess king queen isn't terrible. Seems like a better 3-bet than a call. And we don't ever call there.
Alright,
So
so
it was a 3-bet.
low jack open, cut off.
Low jack open and cut off facing that with a king queen. Can 3-bet the low jack. But if you don't have a 3-bet, if you're not 3-betting or folding, I suppose you could call with king queen. Wouldn't be the worst thing. This is funny. Maybe that's what amuses me about this hand. I think it might get funnier. Bets big, raises. Come on, 3-4.
Actually, the king 10 was supposed to
How's
check.
that?
Oh no, why?
That is insane.
This
I
is what I'm
do.
talking about. Some fish get spazzy with marginal made hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is 200 in L too.
Ah, this is tour. Yeah. This is the $200 game, kids. All
So
right,
what do you do? So I think you got to release your king 10. Oh my God.
he's only got 8. He's only got that left.
Can you go back? What are his pot odds?
Yeah, but still.
Oh, and this guy's all in. No, it's worse than that. The king queen is short stacked.
Yeah, the king queen short stack. But
Reasonable bet. He just jammed. He can't fold.
so what are his pot odds? So his pot odds, right? So that's presented to the big blind. Big blind folds, right?
Yeah, big blind folds.
All right. So big blind folds, and then I think he
This-
could fold. I think
No,
he could
this
fold.
has to be a fold. This is an easy fold.
Yeah, he's clear. He's been raised and re-raised, and he's got king 10.
Yeah, you've got to have some kind of. You got to have some kind of redraw.
No, this fold is great, but this insanity out of the 4-3 is even more insane because those 18 big blinds that are left there is not folding.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
He
Yeah, no fold equity against the short stack. You're right.
right. Yeah.
So what I want to see is the fish get there.
He probably does. No.
No.
All right. There you go.
That's
All right,
insane.
we're ready
All
to
right,
do-
you guys ready?
So
Yeah.
fishy play pays off.
Yes.
All
Fishy players play fishy.
right, here we go, guys. So hijack raise. Let's see if ace-4 is in. Whoops, what just happened? That's really unfortunate.
Oh, okay. I just realized what was going on with that hand. All right.
I have to rebuild this because I hit the wrong button. Which means I have to move this. 2 of spades, 5 of hearts, queen of spades. 2 of spades, 5 of hearts, queen of spades. So we are betting pure here. I'm sorry, did I interrupt you? Were you saying something, Scotty?
Oh, I just realized why those hands are there. They weren't hand in isolation. It's that particular player was crazy, and I have his whole thing. We're going to go over him at some point. Just
Oh, you have like
I have the whole sequence of him.
you have a maniac
Yeah, I had it written down. It says
narrative. You
S6
actually have a narrative.
yeah, it says S6 in my notes, and I thought that meant study with sixes, but what it means is seat 6. Watch this guy. All right, we're back.
So this is interesting that we're range betting here. I didn't think we'd range bet against hijack, but I guess we are because we've got such a dominating
Well,
equity advantage here. We don't have as much of
Yeah.
an advantage.
typically kind of Broadway low after you 3-bet is, I would almost always range bet those boards.
With the
So the
exception of
heuristic a little bit
five.
is, does the two-tone I would think there'd be more range betting on a rainbow board, but
On a what board?
rainbow. But on a two-tone, I thought there'd be less, maybe just Rive's sizing down. But what's the heuristic again, Joey?
Alright, well. Basically, pre-solver. You already know I 3-bet tons. Pre-solver, my basic go-to strategy was 3-bet C-bet range.
Mhm.
And I have cut that back a little bit, but single Broadway, 2 low cards, I still C-bet range.
Okay. So this single Broadway, so high, low, low, you're gonna see bet range.
Yeah,
Okay.
And is the logic behind that of their calling range, there's only one card within their calling range for them to hit, and you have all the overpairs.
yes.
I imagine also it has to do with the fact that
And we have a set of queens that he doesn't.
Right.
and he doesn't have 5s and 2s. He doesn't have 2s at all. And he only has 5s at a low frequency. So if you look at his opening range,
Well, plus also you have to take into account somebody ISOing. It's gonna look a lot like this. They're gonna call behind with 5s and 2s quite a bit
Right.
yeah,
instead of ISOing them too.
yeah, that's a good point. So he's gonna be stripped. But let's not think about the hand this is built from. Let's think about this solve. So yeah, I wonder if the 6s are important. Like the low quality that you're talking about, Joey. I think the fact that he has the nuts at a low frequency plays into this a lot. Because when he gets 3-bet, his calling range. Now he's got just a smattering of these. He hardly ever has these because he RFI'd 5s at a low frequency and he's calling them at a low frequency when 3-bet. In solver land. So yeah, so that makes sense that we C-bet range here. What size did I use?
And the
Yeah.
sizes
I used
sizes
a
are presented, you did just under a third, are
30% or half pot mainly.
they're just with that.
Yeah, and it's going to crossboard with my combo.
Yeah.
So we B33.
Good.
He's always going to call with his flush draws, I assume. Of course, he's going to call with his flush draws. He has very little raising.
Where's his A7 suited?
He doesn't have it. He doesn't call a 3-bet with it.
Oh, he
He-
folded it. Okay.
So he calls. We'll
We
pretend
do
he has
look
ace
at
10
like
suited.
ace-5 suited.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
he-
wait,
Ace
no,
5
that's
suited is a
there.
pair. Yeah, there's a problem with it, but going on.
And then 6 of spades. So it does want to, it mixes, it wants to continue. You can check too. What are all our gut shots doing? I don't think we have very many. Yeah, we're mixing with all our gut shots. Except the 5 we're betting more with because we have. I would think we check more with the 5. Because we have marginal showdown. Got a pair. But no, it wants to bet more, which I find a little surprising. But with
No,
our,
third pair on a flush board is not marginal made anymore. It falls
So-
to junk.
so it's turning its pair into a bluff.
Yeah,
Okay.
It's a gut shot too.
so it's using the gut shot property to bluff as opposed to a gut shot and a pair is a good. It's a good hand to bluff.
Pair plus draw. Yeah, so these mix, we could check. Checking's fine. I do our flushes. So our flushes are now.
But when they continue at all sizes. I love that.
Yeah,
they
I
continue
didn't
to bet.
expect many 33s to be in there.
Yeah. They were right across the board.
I find it interesting that when we hit the flush here, that our ace king is betting at full frequency, blocking their king X flushes. I would think this would be the one we'd slow play
Yeah.
because we're blocking king X. They can't have the king high flush.
Mhm.
But we're actually slow playing our lesser flushes.
Yeah.
That is unusual to me. That is surprising. So, anyway, we can check here, which we do. How often does he trap? He traps at flush draw. Well, it does have a flush. So it's here. So he is trapping sometimes. Not all the
About
time.
30%.
Yeah, he gets a trap at some frequency. And the highest. And he is also trapping with his best flush.
The highest is the
most.
jack 10.
So this kind of makes sense because you want to think that he's gonna have his best kickers that are gonna trap blocking your flushes. What did you say, Scott? I didn't hear you, sorry.
He traps the most with his jack 10.
Yeah, I guess you're right. Yeah,
Second most with his ace 10.
okay.
Or actually second most with a 10-9.
So his play was fine.
There's 3 of clubs.
Sure, I get this. Got a good memory, dude. Jealous. 3 clubs. What do our straights do
Yeah.
now?
That's how I remember all these heuristics.
Is what?
I just got a good memory. If I see a heuristic once, I tend to remember it.
Those make really good poker players. That's what they say Bryn Kenny's magic is that he's got a photographic memory. So
Quite
we are always,
photographic. I wouldn't
say it
say-
again?
Not photographic, but
Yeah,
I'm
supposedly
not that good.
Bryn Kenny has a photographic memory.
Photographic is like what Stu Unger had, pretty much.
So it looks like in Sol World, my play is not so bad. My straight can shove.
Yep. And
So
the
I
other
played it
size
well.
it can do, the other size it can do is, I can't see it in,
I'll change these colors when I think of it, Scotty. It's
that's
a,
okay. Just click on it and make it big. Click on the ace 4 of
Okay.
your, of hearts right over there. That'll bring it big. Okay, so
it mostly bets 80%,
yeah, that's what it
which
was.
is around where I was.
Yeah. And then I assume when it bets 80%, it calls off. Let's see.
there's no way I can. Yeah, so I do get to shove here if I
Right.
want to. So I bet 86. He's all in.
You're not happy, but you
Yeah,
call.
we call.
Yeah.
Let's see what kind of, how many with the EVS. Yeah, we call all the time. Oh, that's a,
You didn't
we're
even,
winning it. Yeah, it's a slam dunk.
yeah, you didn't even lose the money in the wrong order. You lost the money. You lost the money.
I
in a
lost the money in a totally solver approved order.
completely reasonable order.
All
Well,
Can you go make your shove and let's see what he just calls with.
Okay. Oh, that's a good
What's the
question.
worst
Hold on, let
hand
me
he
share
calls
again.
with?
That is a good question. So here, river, small blind, all in. I think this gets rid of the filters. So his calling range
So his queen X's are calling
is,
like half the time.
so he's always calling his, paired board. He's always calling his sets. And it looks like he's
Sets
obviously
two
always calling his
pairs,
flushes.
and then the threshold is at top pair, which it looks like he's calling at about 50% frequency.
Yeah, so threshold is like these tens. Yeah, well, actually, there it is. Ace queen. Yeah, I'll show it this way. Yeah. Top pair is threshold. Top pair. Yeah. Top pair is the very best is ace queens are calling. Let's
With
see
a
what
spade.
they're. No, well, they like having a spade more, right? Over here, they're calling pure. So if you have the flush blocker, I find this interesting to compare. It's winning 2 chips, right? And you're losing without. And then here with your ace queen suited, you're calling, but you're losing half a chip. But you can see the power of the blocker here. We're calling pure with the blocker.
And why, and the reason we're calling a negative EV hand is,
So this is. So CG mentioned this the other day, and he said that sometimes in solver, you'll see a negative EV play when the opponent had made a play that is very low frequency. But this is not a super low frequency player here.
okay,
But that was his reasoning, is that, I mean, we're shoving 1%, so it's not infinitesimal.
right.
But CD's argument is that those trees sometimes are not solved down to like
Right.
0.3.
Okay,
And so you begin to see this discrepancy between negative EV and calling frequencies.
okay.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hand it back to the alpha.
All right, I'll show a hand and then, if anybody else has a hand, stick it in, I think, Skate, I think we're gonna finish at like, 3, what time is it now there? I don't know what time zone you're in, but I
Well,
think we'll
to-
finish between 6 and 20 minutes from now. Like, we're not gonna go 3 hours. This is a usual 2-hour one.
Okay, yeah, that's
We
fine.
will, let's talk 1 second though, before we do a hand, just to the group here, which
Yeah.
is, so this came from the Tuesday group with Crazy Sixes, and it looks like this, like Crazy Sixes is not gonna run this group anymore. It's not on the schedule anymore. He might do it sometimes or whatever. We know that we want to have a cash game group. And if we can get, a coach to do it, even better. We've been running a cash game group on Fridays, which we've moved to Monday. So there's now a Monday cash game group that starts in 5 minutes from now. So we've been starting it at the 2:15 Eastern time. We can keep that one going and just have one a week. We can do 2 of them. We can do Monday and Tuesday. That's fine. Anybody have any opinions? We can choose a different day, but it looks like this one being run by Crazy Sixes is not
If-
gonna happen.
If we're going once a week, I
Yeah.
prefer to keep it a Tuesday afternoon.
Okay, this spot's the best spot.
Yeah, but
Okay.
I do like twice a week.
All right.
Yeah,
well,
I like
Yeah.
twice a week. The only
Hey.
question is,
I mean, honestly, for a tournament, we have study groups 5 days a week for tournament, and
Yeah,
there's almost
yeah.
nothing for
Yeah.
cash game players.
Yes.
there are really, so you've got Monday, Wednesday, Friday with Louis. Are there other cash game or tournament groups?
Yeah, Tim does
Sure.
one every Monday night for tournaments.
Not Peter.
Peter does that. Yeah.
He
Peter
actually,
doesn't.
he's retired from that.
Oh, yes.
Oh, okay. So there's the Thursday cash or tournament with, sixes.
Yeah,
Oh, the Thursday tournament sixes. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah.
And then the Q&A on Saturday is mostly tournament, or not the
Yeah.
Q&A, the Twitch.
Yeah,
Study
yeah.
stream.
Yeah, you're right. It is 5 days a week, Joey.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah, the only question for me is, I think, well, we moved the Friday one to Monday so
Mhm.
that, because it was tough for some people
Yeah.
to get there on Friday, right?
Yeah.
I don't mind having one right after the other, but maybe,
Let's do it for a while. Let's do Monday. We'll do Monday, Tuesday. It's 2 different times a day, so that's nice. So we get a nice coverage, and then we have board coverage with this. And then
Hey,
we'll
if we want, we can, if we will get enough players, we can do a third one a week.
okay. All right.
Yeah.
yeah, sure. But
keep
we're
both-
gonna need you guys to, here, I'm gonna put pressure on you guys. We're gonna need you guys to show up on Monday, though. It was just 3 of us yesterday, so hopefully we can get more in the
I
future.
was planning to come, but my boss called me about 10 minutes before and said, hey, I need this, this, and this done right now.
Oh, bummer.
Cause
Yeah,
I,
give it some time. Give it some time to get some legs. That was the first one. Maybe, once it starts to establish itself.
Sounds good. So I'll
It's not the same
oh,
things
mean,
as setups.
if sixes isn't going to continue, maybe I could talk to Toe and see if I can get Zoom and GTO Wizard paid for by PC.com and I can run it.
Oh, awesome. Well, and just so you know, Joey, we don't need, we can always use my Zoom. I can set it up so my Zoom opens automatically. So even when I'm not there, you can use it. So it's just whether we can get the wizard or something by PC.com. Check it out if we can. And then
Yeah, Joey, yeah, please do ask, because I don't know if I'm gonna continue with my subscription to GTO Wizard, because
And if they
I
can
feel like
give-
I can get so much free. I don't know if it's worth it.
I mean, they already have the sub to it. If they just give me the password, they got the better.
yeah, they have all the things. Yeah, ask them about that if we can do it. And then if we can't, maybe what we'll do is a few of us will just chip in and we'll have it, and that'll be our study session one, and we'll get the full thing that way. But we'll
So
figure.
the way that Poker Study for You does it, which I thought we could potentially do, it's pretty geeky, but they have essentially a remote computer set up,
Great.
and they have that logged into GTO Wizard, and I would imagine they have some kind of free scheduling software.
So the only
and-
one person uses it and stuff, so it's just being used during the sessions. That's great.
And then so they can schedule time on it, so they all can get in and use it. And then
Okay.
they split the cost. I mean, that I think is a really good idea. We just need to have someone who has a spare laptop, and then, I'm geeky enough to set it up if we have that.
Yeah, I've
Well,
got lots of equipment to do it. I've got the Zoom if we need it if they don't there. And so what we'll start is we'll do the Mondays and the Tuesdays for now. And Joey, you talk to the PC folks because you have more of an in, and see what we can or can't get from
Yeah.
them. Sounds
Like,
great.
Yeah.
I'm not currently a coach, but I
Okay.
did coach for like 7 years before.
Great.
I was asked by Jonathan to actually do stuff for the site,
Okay,
like do
well,
videos, and I had to turn it down.
well, here's the thing. I will make all these videos available for the site for these. So offer them that, and then with you named as the coach or us as a group as whatever. But yeah, let's follow up on that. So Mondays.
I
yeah,
don't
cool.
necessarily need to be called coach, just the host.
Great. That'll work fine. Great.
Right.
And
Well,
for
well, let's
anytime I can't make it, we always have you as a backup.
Yeah, perfect. That'll be perfect.
what about this? Worst case scenario, let's say, how do you guys feel about using DTO instead of GTO?
We could do that too.
Because I was thinking about maybe getting that.
Yeah.
So maybe
Well,
we can have-
DTO doesn't allow for
DTO is
solves.
not as nearly as good.
It's a training
No.
tool, but it doesn't allow you to solve a particular site. It's a good tool, but it's essentially the trainer that is inside GTO Wizard.
Unless you have DTO three-way, which we can look at for some of the multi-way spots.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that's something that we don't have. But when it comes to heads up spots, GTO Wizard is far superior.
Great.
True. But a lot of our opponents are not playing well, yeah. Let's talk about it because I was thinking about getting DTO. So yeah,
Yeah, DTO is a really good training tool if you're
I-
trying to learn how to play
for cash too, right? 'Cause
solver-based play.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I've used DTO Cache before, but it's not specifically a solver tool where you can look up spots and look at ranges.
Okay.
Okay.
So excellent. So we have a plan. We're going to keep the Mondays and Tuesdays. It's Eastern time. It's going to be Monday at 2:15 Eastern time will be our start, and Tuesdays at 12:15 Eastern time, right? Yes. Those will be our 2 days a week we'll do. I'll send a message to Toe about putting both of those in the list. And Joey's going to talk about whether we can get access to any more of the poker coaching resources for it. All right, here's our last hand. This is going to be King 9, raise. A call by the small blind, which doesn't exist in our world, but is acceptable. My assumption is when we look at this hand, it is not going to be one of the hands that is in the small blind calling range. It's going to be someone playing the small blind badly, as opposed to playing the small blind well. Let's find out. And then the big blind comes along, sure. We flop a vulnerable top pair. Check, check. So I'm always betting this top pair here. It's three-way, so this pushes my bet size down. The fact that the board has, straight draws available, I don't think that they're actively played straight draws. The 4-6, the 2-4, I don't care about those. They're just not there. Even suited, I don't expect to see them. Maybe in the big blind. But the inside straight draws, the 6-8, the 7-8, and the 6-7, I think those all exist in their ranges. But I don't think I need to bet big against those ISDs. None of them have an overcard. So a third, get called. Well, this is good. And so now this is my question. What's my turn sizing here?
About half pot or more.
Yeah, big-ish, I would say is probably,
Yeah, I think Solver does size up with two pair quite often.
Right.
yeah, but you've got the, I think you've got the range and the nut advantage here. I think you can size up.
Right.
All right, I was sending Toe a message. What happened on the flop?
We went three-way and I bet a third pot and got called.
Okay.
And the question when he checks here is what size is my turn size? And I'm thinking, knowing me, I think I'm going to bet 8 here, but the question is, should I be betting 12 or 15?
There's an argument to go a bit smaller.
Okay.
The king is a great barrel card that I might be betting almost my whole range. Anything I bet on the flop, I would probably follow through with the king.
Right. And so since I'm betting range, I need to bet smaller so that I can bet range. So I don't.
Yeah, that's my thinking.
Right. And smaller here is
No.
half, pot, right? Not a third pot. That's a question.
Yeah, a third pot to half pot in that range, I would think.
Okay.
So when you think about your range advantage here is gonna increase your frequency. What about your nut advantage? I think you've definitely got the nut advantage here. Nobody's really got two pair. They've got the sets, you've got the over pairs. Does your nut advantage want to drive that up?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I'm just remembering the heuristic that on a turn card where you're going to barrel with a lot of your range, you don't go as large. But if there's obviously always exceptions to the heuristics that you learn.
Mhm.
If this case is an exception, I'm not sure.
I feel like we have about equal amount of sets. They have the 3s and 5s, and we have all the 9s and the kings.
They have a little bit more. They're probably a little bit more dense in their 3s than us. I'm not dense. They have more 3s, but they're also wider. They're also wider, so they don't have a higher density of 3s. So I'm with you. Yeah.
Okay.
And I did not set this up for a river shove. How big can I go? I can certainly bet pot. No reason not to bet pot here.
You think so?
Yeah, I can bet pot. I mean, there's a number of hands in my range that want to bet pot here.
For some reason, I don't want to size up too much on a paired board when. Hmm,
I mean,
I'm
so
think-
I think solver's gonna probably would give you tons of sizing options here.
Yeah.
Because you have 100% equity, and usually in that situation, it's gonna give different betting sizes. Because those different betting sizes profit from different parts of the range.
Right. I want to jam again. I want to be jamming when he has threes and fives and ace nine. I want to be betting pot when he has slow played pocket aces and ace king and king queen. How did he get here with king queen? He didn't.
I mean, the only thing that's different maybe is that there's no flush or straight available, so for that reason, it might size down.
Right.
He could,
I mean,
he
that-
could
that's
have
it,
king,
though.
he
Thi-
could
this-
have king, queen suited.
Yeah, and he's got a lot of nines.
Two overs with a backdoor flush draw.
Yeah, you can have king queen of spades, king queen.
My thinking is that something that Skater Die already pointed out, on paired boards, we don't go as large, I don't think.
Yeah, maybe he folds king queen to a shove, but he calls maybe pot or less,
Pot size.
or
Pot size.
Think about his range here. His nines are like, he's loaded with nines. He's got,
yeah,
he flatted after the small blind flatted. He's got 8, 9, 10, 9, 7, 9, jack 9 suited, queen 9 suited.
but do you
Right.
think he's gonna check his nines on the river? I don't think so as much. I don't think he's gonna check his nines.
After you went bet big, I don't know.
Some people will donk, but not, it depends on the player.
Right. I don't know.
The nine's not really a dunking card.
It's not, but some fish
Yeah,
will definitely
yes,
donk.
yeah, some people just, oh, I got a good hand now, I'm gonna bet.
Yeah,
I went slow. I couldn't decide between
okay.
pot size and all in, so I compromised. All right, and just so
Yeah,
we know,
I think it should be smaller than pot, or,
Yeah.
We see what he had. Okay. Well, it makes
yeah,
sense.
so you wouldn't have called anything.
I wasn't getting any money.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, we have this bad play. We have this jack 10, which is not in a flatting range, I don't believe. From the small
no,
blind.
but a lot of fish like playing that hand.
Yep, exactly. And then the queen 3 after this is not bad to complete. It's got problems, but it's not bad. I think that,
Theoretically, I think it should be a fold.
yeah, I think it's probably, you probably need queen 8 to do it.
I don't
well,
know.
let's look at what
Close.
calls.
What do you
Yeah,
mean?
we're-
It's called?
Let's look at what calls when cutoff opens and button flats.
Right, so cutoff opens correctly with the king 9. Point that out.
So
Small-
the problem with giving small blind a flatting range is that it's not gonna resemble,
It's
it
not,
doesn't matter, I guess.
it's not, but how this guy played. Oh, nope, look at that. Oh, no, of course it's not. It's this, it's there. No, of course there's nothing in the offsuit branch like that. But we know that. And then
Right.
big blind facing it. Yeah, queen 8 is where it really comes in to play,
So the argument for the queen 6 is that it coolers the wheel.
right? It's the 6 tooth. All right. So that's that. Do we want to look at this hand cutoff versus big blind since even without the small blind there, it plays similarly? Or do you want to just be done?
I wouldn't mind seeing what the frequencies on your king 9 continuation bet. Well, I guess multi-way it's totally different.
Yeah, the multi-wayness changes it. I mean, we're gonna get there. But the turn size and let's just look at it for the turn size and river size. It's not accurate, but some of the principles are the same. So you want to set this one up, Larry?
Sure.
Okay,
Unless somebody else wants to drive for a minute
No.
with GTO Wizard, I'm happy to do it.
it's you.
Alright, can you bring up the
Yes.
board, please?
Hey, you, come on. There we go.
Alright,
I do like the bigger size on the flop, on the turn, now that I see what his hand is.
So
I would
a cutoff
go-
open, big blind flat, we're gonna go with, right?
Yeah, cut off open, big blind flat.
Alright, give me a minute to set it up.
Okay.
Yeah, now that we see what his hand is, Scotty, I also was thinking about like you could block the river and look for shoves from nines and bluffs.
Yep. I also, as it turns out, could bet bigger on the turn and happily get called.
Ready when you are, sir.
All right, let's do it.
Alright, so we got some donking on here. So we've got. These are the ranges we're working with. Cutoff range. Big. Lot of flats. What is he? He's calling 40% hand. This must be. So. I'm gonna give my, donking speech for the last time. So I've asked two really good poker players about building a donking range. Based on solver play, and both have said it's not worth the EV and that you are going to spend, you're going to gain more profit by learning about other parts of the tree. So I asked Phil Gaffond in a Ask Me Anything, and he said the EV you gain isn't worth the time you put into understanding the full decision tree in a donking hand. And Jeremiah Williams said the same thing. So I think they're probably right. You know, it is fun to donk. But, and also we
Yeah.
see solver do it all the time.
And also when the solver has like a small donking range, you can almost just check range and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he checks. And
How
he,
small is too small to ignore? Like what if it's, donking range is frequencies in the 50% range?
If you
What those
notice,
guys- Oh, go
even
on.
when he has a donking range, almost every hand in his range is still gonna have a large percentage of checking. But there are some that are consistent. There's a small subset that's consistent. When it's 8 and below, the board is 8 high and a straight is flopped. And then the big blind will have some donk range.
Yeah, sometimes those can get up into the 60, 70, 80% frequency.
yeah, like a 4, 5, 6 rainbow is the classic, right? Or 5, 6, 7 rainbow.
Yeah,
But
so
I'm wondering if I don't begin to turn those donks into XRs instead.
Exactly. That was the shorthand, which was, it's not that you have the same EV from never donking. It's that there are very few of those boards that get that big, and the difference isn't large enough to spend the brain power on that when you have this perfectly reasonable alternative of check raises.
Yeah, yeah.
And then
And
don't
check
let-
raises are more fun.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So what was your sizing on turn, on flop,
So
sorry?
on flop, I did, I bet small, which is there, and I stand by it because we were three-way at the time, and we're not breaking the solver.
Alright, so what do we do with our top pair? Let's look across this entire range. So I always,
first of all, it's 3-way on the flop, so nothing this shows here will actually correspond with the hand that
Yep.
we're looking at.
Yep, we know that. We know we're making we know we're doing a bunch of substitutions, but it's still, the turn and river will still be interesting.
Yeah.
But yes, you're 100% right.
So like all these bet 50s and bet 75s, they're out the window in a multi-way pot.
yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah, it's gonna be almost all bet 33s when I bet. Is that right?
Yeah.
And also, for anybody who plays tournament, this is beside, I'm just looking at my calendar. So Ape Styles, who doesn't stream very often anymore, he's gonna do a coaching session at in 30 minutes on stream. FYI. So and Abe Styles is arguably one of the best tournament players that streams. Anyway, so yeah, I always think it's very interesting the linear nature of our bet frequency here,
Mm-hmm.
depending on kicker. So you certainly get to bet here. And you chose a B33, is that right?
Yeah,
He called, correct?
Right, with his king, queen 3 suited, and he does.
And we get the lovely king of diamonds.
Right. Best king in the deck.
So what do your top two do now?
He has no donking range on the turn.
Non-equity shifting card. So your two pair,
wow. I would have bet range with this.
yeah, you're overbetting. I was gonna say you're overbetting quite a bit. So you are with your combo here. What combo did you have? And I'll make it
My
big.
combo is king of hearts, 9 of diamonds. So I block the diamonds.
So hearts, diamonds. Yeah, you are getting overbets. You're B75ing or B125ing.
Good. So no small bet. Okay. Great.
Is it due to the backdoor possibility, or maybe the straight draws as well?
Yeah,
Mm,
Larry, look at your favorite breakdown and see
So
what range is
yes.
actually.
So I always find it interesting as well that the sizing of our thick value is mimicked in us. And what specifically? Sorry.
Ranges actually is what I was kind of looking for.
Oh, you
The
want to
range-
see what the whole range is doing?
Yeah, the ranges tab. So you're in breakdown right now. Range is right next to it.
Oh, you want to go to ranges? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
but look at that. This,
Breakdown's my favorite tab.
And
Yeah.
and that's where you can see this massive nut advantage.
Okay. Let's go look at
yeah.
equity buckets advanced.
He has the advantage with the worst hand simply because I bluffed and he didn't call his bluffs. So that's why at the bottom, he has an equity advantage. And then this card just kills for me.
Yeah, you've got a significant nut advantage.
Yeah.
On this card. So so if we look here. So here, his equity is 47
Mm-hmm.
when he calls. So it's, pretty close, but this. It doesn't change that much.
No,
No.
it doesn't change. What change? This is the thing.
His equity was 45 on the flop.
I was
Okay.
talking about after he called. So after, yeah, 45. Yeah.
Right. The reason his equity, oh, wait,
So there was a little bit of equity shift towards him, but not large.
yeah.
Yeah. I thought that would, I think we all thought that would be a very
Yeah,
good card for your
that's why
position.
that's why we're not betting range.
Right.
But we are
Is
polarizing with the range we do that.
I thought the king would be much better for us than it was for him.
is fives at bottom of our opening range in the cutoff? Because I just see that we have more. We have fives as well.
I have
Yeah,
a
we got fives at full frequency.
Okay.
I have a question here just about
Thank you.
what the graph we saw. When it showed it to us on the flop, that 45% equity that he had, that was of the hands he called, had 45% equity, or his range has 45% equity, including what he folds.
We can compare. So
Right
he's
here,
48%, big blind is 48% equity here. Cutoff calls, big blind then, even though his range is condensed now.
No, his equity's 45.7 I think after the bet and before his call.
right? So that's his whole range is 45.7.
Yeah, maybe. I
That's
thought
the case, that means once
if
he,
that was the case, then why would it be different though, Joey? Because it's here. It's 48. You bet. And
Well,
on this node,
because he
when
didn't bet
cutoff,
everything, 48 against my whole range, then it's 45, then it's 45 against my betting range.
yeah, I see your point. So then
Right.
maybe this is really the number that matters.
Right, so click on,
I have another thought too. If you make the king of hearts, I wonder how that changes the sizings.
Yes.
So if it's a rainbow, no flush available,
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing.
Oh, I think it massively increases the cutoffs. Like you'll see some really big bets now, right? Like more over bets.
I think it's gonna be more polarized as well.
Think so?
Yeah, so it's moved, so let's just do a quick, so we gotta be, so we're like 23%, 27.
and with 28% checking.
And yeah, it's reduced
So-
our overbet significantly and
And we
check
bet
a lot
more
more.
often.
Yeah, less betting. Okay.
So you're two pair betting a lot, and yeah,
I hear you.
and all your kings, your case kings are betting.
So
Right.
Larry, the big blind does not have nines because he's gonna three bet those pre-flop.
I think he mixes.
How is this applicable? How is this applicable to real life?
it's accurate. There are people who three bet their nines and there are people who call their nines.
Okay.
He
I-
mostly calls.
Mostly
He
calls.
starts to mix more.
Okay.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I can't guess the frequencies of which they do it, but I can guarantee that people call nines in the big blind and also three bet nines in the big blind against the cutoff. Both of those things happen.
So in game, you used a B75.
I used a B90.
All right, so I'll let you choose
Doesn't
between
exist, but-
B75 or overbet.
Yeah, we'll look at them both ways. But I didn't do a B50 and I didn't do a B33, so I feel good about that.
So he called with his queen three, right? Which you're
Yep.
supposed to do at some frequent. Oh, he had queen three with the
Queen three
with the
diamonds. He's gonna
diamond
call it.
draw.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's got the diamonds.
Yeah, he's in there.
So call. And you've got the dream nine of clubs.
Yeah. Well, the
It
dream
could
would be
have
the
been-
nine of diamond. The dream was the nine of diamonds.
9 of diamonds would have.
Yeah, I was very curious how your sizing is gonna change with your boat when the flush comes in.
So
So,
he does donk nines there. Look at that.
you wanna look at his donking?
Yeah, he looks like there's donking nines.
So there you go, Skate. There's not every nine is donked, but there's some nine donks.
So he's donking, yeah, he's donking 20% of the time. That's not insignificant.
Yeah.
And his trips are mixing. Those are his trips.
Yep, mixing date based on kicker.
His quads are like, well, I don't know what to do, but sometimes. Okay.
And his full house is just jam. Not jam. His full house is every time.
His full house is block betting.
Yeah.
It's inducing, it's BSTIing.
Block bet to induce.
So, he checks his queen three, which he's supposed to do. What is your size with your full house? So you've got shoves, and they're your full house. Yeah, your full house is mostly shoving.
Right. Okay. So
Now, and also you are trying to get value with your nines against his full houses, I guess. Your quads are betting smaller. I'm curious. So
click
let's just
on the king
let's look
nine
at
off
your,
second.
sorry?
Let's click on the king nine 1 second. I'm gonna look
Sure.
at my exact combo. Offsuit. I'm offsuit. All right.
We
And
were
these
over 100 big blinds, right? In this.
100,
this hand.
we're looking at heart diamond. Heart diamond mixes heavy. That's one of the ones that does do the less than jam.
Our diamond. Yeah,
Size that it does are, blow that up for just a second.
sorry, say it again.
I was looking at this. So it does, oh yeah, let's see what its size is. It does a 59 a lot and 150 a lot. So a small, it doesn't do a middle one a lot. 59 and 150. And I did not the optimum.
So
I did Oh, no, 150. 150 would be 48. I did 42. Oh, yeah. So that's
Okay.
that's not a jam.
But
Why
do
is
you want to see what he should call? If you bet not all in, it'd be 150. What does he have to call?
But were we not over 100 big blinds this hand?
Let's see. No, we didn't start over 100 big blinds. We were 100 big blinds. He wasn't.
Okay.
So his threshold for calling is he calls some ace five, actually. Heroes with ace five. And his kings are shook.
But he doesn't hero with
No.
king, queen three, sadly.
It does not.
No. How
He's
sad.
got crazy ass bluffs with blockers to the straight. Okay, I'm not finding that. Uh, and there's no straight available. And the other thing I was curious about.
There weren't necessarily blockers to the straight, but they're blockers to hands that have nines.
Down here. Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess blocking ace nine.
Oh, wait,
Yeah, these are just like
ace
weird.
four.
I don't even know if we have to pay
I
attention.
thought
to
you were
these because-
talking about like jack and queen combos.
Yeah,
Ace nine
the
off is
majority
low.
of his bluff shoves are the
Value.
trips.
You
Like
were
you
right
said,
about the ace
he's
blocker.
blocking sets.
I would have enjoyed those shoves. Those would have been good check
He's
shoves.
blocking boats, actually, is what he's doing. So I'm curious, and then we'll go on. I'm curious here. So cut off. So he checks. You're mostly shoving here. This is really kind of stupid, but I'm just curious. What if the flush comes in? Do you pure shove with, you've got to now pure shove with blouse. You shove more, but not pure.
Because now he's got calls.
Yeah. But not pure. All right, I'm gonna hand this back.
All right.
Unless, do you guys want to see anything else on this?
Nah.
No, that was good. That was a good session, everybody. We'll see you next
All right.
Monday.
I just heard back from Toe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're having a meeting with Justin tomorrow and they're gonna know more about the schedule after tomorrow.
Oh, great.
And then
Okay.
he's gonna get back to me.
Sounds good.
All right. Sounds
We'll
good.
see
Let us
Okay.
know.
We'll
There,
see
you said
Monday.
Ape Styles was doing a study session on Twitch.
Yeah, if you guys stick around, I will, it's yeah, so it's not Twitch's, it's not Ape Styles site. It's another guy's. But if you go to Ape Styles Twitter.
Yeah.
You'll be able to see where it is. So just go to Ape Styles Twitter and that'll tell you the guy's site.
Awesome. Thank you. May poker gods be with all.
All
Yeah,
right.
I enjoyed this session. Thanks a lot for running it, Scott. I really appreciate it.
Happy to. Thanks everybody for coming. I'm gonna hit the stop recording. Anybody who watches this on YouTube, you could watch it live and like participate. It'd be much more useful than YouTube. You can even watch it live and watch it at 150%. We have that technology. It's called alcohol.